silver medal today.
She might have done it. What a run.
And Vanderbeek is into second. The Trailblazers here at Lake Louise today. Great ride by the Canadian.
We're spending another weekend at Lake Louise, Alberta, and this time the Queens of Speed get set to conquer the mountain. Italian Sofia Goggia is the reigning Crystal Globe winner in the downhill, and she loves racing this course. Can she pick up where she left off? Let's go racing as you continue to watch us here on CBC Sports. Andy Petrillo, first race of the year for the women, and you've been hearing us say it all along. It's also the last weekend of speed races for the women at Lake Louise, with organizers citing financial constraints as to why it won't continue. But there's so much history here, from Canadian superstars to international stars, and one in particular who loved racing here, of course, is the great American Lindsey Vonn. She loved it so much that they nicknamed this Lake Lindsey, and in fact named the downhill course after her. Now why? Well, she did some pretty incredible things at Lake Louise. Check out this resume. The American great made 25 trips to the podium through 44 starts. And in fact, she was going to retire at the end of the 2018-19 season, but she injured her knee before the stop in Lake Louise, postponed her retirement plans because she said, "I simply cannot retire without coming back to Lake Louise. I have to ski there one more time." Now here's a look at the competitors today. Sofia Goggia has already cemented herself amongst the Lake Louise greats. The Italian phenom swept the races here 1 year ago, becoming just the third woman to do so, joining Germany's Katja Seisinger, and who else but Lindsey Vonn. And the Canadian is Marie-Michelle Gagnon. She notched a top 10 finish at the Olympics last February and posted a career best 5th on the World Cup circuit in the downhill in January. Here she is with our Kelly Vanderbeek.
Andy, today marks the 263rd time Marie-Michelle Gagnon will push out of a World Cup start gate. With that kind of experience, what are you hoping to experience and feel technically, but as well as emotionally?
Well, I mean, first of all, this may be the last Lake Louise race of all for the whole World Cup, so I think everyone's kind of taking this as a ride of joy, if that makes sense. But for me, for sure, with experience, I have experienced a bit of everything in the training runs, so I'm hoping that I've learned my lesson throughout all the training runs and that I can take that onto the race today. I'm hoping to just have this feeling of just skiing the skis and not overdoing it, because that's when I overdo it, then I just become stiff and I lose sort of that flow in my skiing.
I know you're looking for that flow, and with this perhaps being the last World Cup, what do you take from Lake Louise?
Well, Lake Louise is like our only home race for Canadians. It's Canadian fans. It feels like home. I mean, it is home, but it really feels like home. So that this place just is like I hold dear to my heart always, forever.
Thank you. Good luck today.
Yeah.
Great stuff, Kelly. Hey, tell me it's cold without telling me it's cold. Let's all has the call alongside four-time Olympian Brian Stemmel.
Thank you, Andy. There's nothing quite like the winter start in the Rockies. Since the 1980s, the World Cup has counted on this place to deliver early seasons. It has almost never failed to live up to the challenge. The great Katja Seisinger of Germany, Renata Kutschel of Austria, and of course the great Lindsey Vonn of the United States. For the Canadian women, this is the lone speed stop on home snow, and there's a feeling that abounds here this weekend. The hope is that this is not the last call for Lake Louise. Breezy Johnson of the United States, from injury she returns. She was the runner-up twice at Lake Louise last season. Corinne Suter of Switzerland, the reigning Olympic and world champion. Sofia Goggia of Italy has won the downhill season title 3 times and is always a threat. Here are the past champions of the Lake Louise downhill for women, a race first run in 1992 here. Sofia Goggia of Italy won both last season. Austrian Nicole Schmidhofer won 3 of 4 in 2018 and 2019. Czech star Esther Ledecka captured her first World Cup victory here. Michaela Schifrin and Cornelia Hutter celebrated their first downhill wins at Lake Louise in 2017. Well, Brian, one thing it's safe to wager on: when the women hit December in the Rockies, it will be cold and they get 3 training in frosty temperatures, but conditions are very good.
If you like the cold weather, conditions are absolutely perfect. The women's faces will be covered with tape so they don't get frostbite, because at those speeds, frostbite can happen so quickly. But you know, when you're in Lake Louise and you hear those squeaky boots in the snow, you're ready for a women's downhill.
First racer in the gate, Kajsa Vikhoff Lee of Norway, the 24-year-old, the 2018 World Junior Champion in both the downhill and the Super G, but missed the Olympics in Beijing because of an injury. Here we go on course. Brian, Kajsa Vikhoff Lee.
All right, so maybe the last time the women will be racing here in Lake Louise. We'll be moving to Mont Tremblant next year for some technical races this time of year. Trying to switch it up a little bit. So 3,000 meters, 38 gates. Same as the men's race last weekend. Be a couple of more turns, but terrain is really pronounced this year. They've made a lot of snow on this course. You come down tickety shoots here to 120 an hour, 134 just like that for the Norwegians. So 38 gates, 3,000 meters, about 80 meters apart. So think about that as a soccer pitch. You're watching the World Cup. You know, it's almost from the goal line to the 18-yard mark. That's how far the majority of the gates are apart. Here, coach's corner. Over the waterfall, and this gets really gnarly in here. You really have to press and absorb that roller right here, get way out to fishnet, and then stand on your left foot. And it's completely blind coming over water, or fall away right now. Extremely steep in this section of the course, and you get going Mach speed down here, really quick. Down through gun barrel. Important right here. Saw Mauro Cavietza have a really bad fall right in that section of the course last week because the speeds are so high. It gets very dark in here. There's a big whale spine right there. Ski on the backside of a basketball through that section of the course, and then down through Claire's corner, really flat down here around this last turn. Saw Lindsay Vaughn fall here. Remember, she's synonymous with Lake Louise. 18 wins here. And then down Easy Street through the finish. That's a good run from Kajsa Vikhoff Lee.
Vikhoff Lee, the big hope for the Norwegian team, stops the clock at 1:50.71, and that is her 50th World Cup start. And as I mentioned, coming off a leg injury at Val di Fassa in February, and that caused her to miss the Olympic Games.
Yeah, that's awesome. She's back, all right. First time in 644 days that she's raced a World Cup. She went hiding into Sri Lanka to rehab and try and get through that difficult time, and she made it.
The Italian women have proven to be strong over the past few seasons. Here is Laura Pirovano, 25-year-old, 12th in the downhill in the 2021 World Championships at home at Cortina.
Another woman who's had injuries, tore her ACL last year in her left knee. That was nothing new for her. She tore the right one in 2018, so it hasn't been easy for Laura, but come back nicely so far in training and is right in there with the Norwegian.
Running half a second ahead of Kajsa Vikhoff Lee of Norway. 2017 World Junior Champion in the giant slalom, so a multi-disciplined skier.
She had top 10s in downhill before her injury last season. You can see how cold it is. Minus 28 there this morning. Only minus 18 at race day. You'll see the racers with tape all over their faces, but the camera lenses are fogging up because of these cold conditions, but it makes it really perfect. It's super slick, full of proof ice. And she was rocking just before her injury last year. That's such a good turn right there through C-turn. Really nice. She stuck her nose in there and really nailed that turn.
Pirovano, the youngest member of this Italian side. For the women, got a couple of Europa Cup wins in the downhill to her credit. Hasn't cracked through on the World Cup yet.
You've seen Marta Vecino coming up shortly. Best friends in the GS team, and this is a good-looking run. Probably going to take the lead.
Pirovano of Italy, and she has the lead by 58/100ths of a second. Great run indeed in cold conditions at Lake Louise in the Rockies.
Not sure if she's thrilled or freezing cold. Michelle Gagnon had a little part of her lip exposed to the elements in the second training run, and that was the only part of her face that got frostbitten, so a little bit better today, it seems like.
She is one of the most popular athletes in... Welcome back to Lake Louise, Alberta, the first speed race of the season, the first of 2 women's downhills at Lake Louise. And here is a superstar, 31-year-old Lara Gutbarami. 318 World Cup starts now. She's already got her first win this season under her belt.
She's just relentless. She's been around forever, it seems, and on the top of her game, once again, feeling healthy. Still searching for some of those keys to downhill, but has been on the podium here in the Asian 5 times in Super G, which they'll race Sunday. Remember, they have a race tomorrow, Saturday, and then a race Sunday in the Super G. And she is really flying perfect over waterfall. Let's see what she does here in fishnet. Got to set herself up. Timing is just so key in this section. And a nice high line. She'll come screaming down this pitch now.
Gutbarami, the Olympic champion in the Super G, knows speed, knows every discipline. Overall Crystal Globe winner in 2016 as the World Cup champion.
She's in physically great shape. She's been skiing well, coaches tell me. Less training this summer, and you know, as a veteran, you don't really need those miles on the skis because it's just like riding a bike for her. She's been here so many times, she can just get this done in her sleep.
2 World Championship gold medals in Cortina in 2021 in the Super G and the GS. Lara Gutbarami, big lead by 0.4 of a second.
Shaking her head. Can't tell if she's smiling under that mask or not, but that was so soft. Look at that turn. Just so delicate, so precise and powerful. She's got so many combinations of greatness.
Miriam Buchner of Austria. A couple of World Cup victories to her credit. The Austrians will always send a deep side in speed racing. Johanna Helen of Switzerland. And the Swiss are out in force. We've seen Gazine, we've seen Gutbarami very close to the top of the standings right now in this women's downhill. The 30-year in Switzerland.
Whoa, big flight down to Tickety Chutes. She is really smoking 134 kilometers an hour. It's still not the fastest. Whoa. Trying a little bit too hard right now. She has to relax. She's getting popped out of some of the turns. Just has to relax a little bit, but man, is she going for it. Look at this, has got the lead. She said she's much physically stronger this year. Better than ever, she said. Great training, no knee issues anymore. She had a knee injury in Val d'Isère last season, and look at that tuck. Beautiful.
Had some success as well last season. Second in a downhill at Courchevel. Hanging on to the lead is Helen by 4/100ths of a second. She's chasing Lara Gutbarami, her teammate.
Did I say she shouldn't try so hard? Maybe she should. This is incredible. Didn't see this coming.
Wow, look at the gap now. Helen rocking it to the bottom of the course at Lake Louise.
Well, she wasn't great in training, but this is some kind of run. She has really gone for it.
Johanna Helen by 0.8 of a second looking for her first World Cup win.
Fantastic run. She was 8th yesterday in training. Wasn't great in the top or the bottom. She really made her money in the middle, but man, what a fight today. That was something else to watch. You want to take a little inspiration from that? She flew way down, all the way down Tickety Chutes at the top, but when you're going fast, that's what happens.
Here's Miriam Puchner of Austria. She was 11th in the downhill at the World Championships at Cortina in 2021. But she won a silver medal in the Super G at Beijing at the Olympics.
Anytime you can take home a little hardware, that's nice. She's done it here before as well, 3rd in downhill, 3rd in Super G. She loves these conditions, loves how cold it is, loves how grippy the snow is. You can really just set your edge in and carve nicely. Even though it's sheer ice, it's got a little grip to it. You know when you're just running across a nice frozen pond and it looks like you can just slide beautifully if you run and you get up to speed and you get there and your foot kind of stabs in there? That's what that snow is like. It's really aggressive even though it's sheer ice.
Puchner, born in Salzburg, grew up on the hills at St. Johann. That's ski country in Austria. So many greats out of there.
Whoa, here we go. Well, she had it going yesterday too and then shut it down in the last section, so she didn't want to take the lead in training and show everybody what she's got, but she is showing everybody today so far. Look at that. It's this last section in Claire's corner. It's blind as well. You can't really see it. Big triple gate left footer.
Well, the Swiss might best beware. Here comes the Austrian attack in the person of Miriam Puchner, who takes the lead by 7/10. We're getting faster and faster in the downhill at Lake Louise.
And that's the great part of ski racing, when everybody comes down with just a little bit better time. That's the way to do it. It was a good run. She was just brimming with confidence throughout training. Off line there in direction, but didn't panic. And here we go with the new leader.
The undisputed star had already won 4 downhills last season when she crashed in the Super G at Cortina. Italian fans held their collective breath, but the news wasn't good. A left knee strain, partial ligament tear, and small leg fracture. Miraculously, Gojja came back 3 weeks later to race the downhill in Beijing at another Olympics. Gojja came close. The World Cup Crystal Globe winner in the downhill. And of course, she had that unfortunate crash at Cortina in the Super G.
Here she goes again, picking up where she left off with the lead, and this is just must-see TV. I tell you, if you're at home, you've got to be watching this right now, because she is one that just lays it on the line, and then disaster can strike any second.
Flamboyant and fast, and a big lead. In training, she was 20th, 2nd, and 4th. So she stepped on the gas already in the Rockies.
Listen to the speed she's got. Oh no, no mistake. Okay, a massive lead now. She's just so ferocious but delicate at the same time. Landed on each one of those bumps and set that edge in, and watch out. She's got fans everywhere going up the chairlift over top of her. They have no idea how fast she's going. 43 hundredths now.
12 World Cup wins for Sofia Gojja. The comeback season starts for this Italian great, and Gojja has the lead. Wow, what a familiar story that's becoming at Lake Louise. Gojja.
Well, that was fun, man. She definitely is one of the brave, that's for sure. That's where I said she just lands so smoothly. Grabbed her tuck again, and looking so good so far. And it's only the first race. She's close, but not close enough.
Coming up, Canada's current speed queen, Marie-Michelle Gagnon.
Looking forward to those races that are coming up a little later on in our show. Thank you, Deanne. Meantime, the women are racing the downhill in Canadian Marie-Michelle Gagnon. Marie-Michelle Gagnon. Let's get back to Scott Russell and Brian Stemmel.
Welcome back to Lake Louise, Alberta, the first speed race of the season, the first of 2 women's downhills at Lake Louise. All right, here is the reigning Olympic downhill champion, reigning world downhill champion, Swiss star Karim Suter, the 28-year-old, and the last Swiss skier to hold both titles at the same time, the great Michaela Figini.
Whoa, almost a little too far forward off that bump, but traveled a long ways. Has a tighter line through that section. That was really good for Karim Suter. Just loves Lake Louise, thinks it's a perfect start to the season. Had 3 podium finishes here, but no wins. So she is going to have to ski a perfect run to take this one away from Goja, who is just really knifing it.
Close, 7 100ths at the last interval, back of Goja.
Tentative coming down the following now through C-turns, going to pick up a whole bunch of speed and gun barrel. Let's see what this clock says.
Whoa, into the lead, Suter.
Yes, this is looking good. Got to get back in your tuck through the spine there. But you have to relax a little bit as well. Got those shoulders up. Almost want to round the back of your shoulders like if you were on a motorbike. Going at a high speed, and she still is now 300ths. Can she make it up down here at Easy Street?
Karim Suter, a big race skier, Olympic champion, world champion, Suter, by a slim margin, 4 100ths of a second. What a race!
Wow, those section times were fabulous up to the start, and then 5th and 3rd in the last 2 sections. Well, their new serviceman, Stefan Bertolt, will be old Svindal and Cheteliansrud serviceman, and she knew it was close as well.
Oh man, she is quite a character. Goja, not afraid to show her emotions. Yep, you're still the leader. Breezy Johnson of the United States, 26 years old, born in Jackson, Wyoming, grew up in Idaho. Season going last season, so close to the wins here at Lake Louise, and then had the problem and missed the Olympics in Beijing.
Yeah, that was tragic. Tearing your ACL and meniscus, never easy. She said, she just had to pick herself up, and when you're going through hell, you just keep going, no matter how bad it gets. You just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep trying. She's done that. Oh no, a little wide through coach's corner. Almost got shot off course. And now if you've noticed, the light has changed. The sun's gone behind a cloud and it is dark. And when it gets dark in fishnet right here, it's super intimidating because you can't really see every bump and the surface clearly on the snow. And that will make you want to hold back just a little bit more. Now she's into the sunshine, and that will be easier. Through the most difficult part of the course.
How about Breezy's injury history? 2017 fractured leg, 2018 torn ACL, 2019 MCL left knee, and then the training crash in 2022, which left her outside the Olympics. Still resilient and rocks on. Breezy Johnson of the United States.
And look to the line and she'll find herself inside the top 10.
6th place. 177 back for Breezy Johnson as she continues to return to the World Cup.
Oh, I'm sure she'll be happy with that. A couple mistakes. There's one of them in coaches. Sometimes you just get a little too anxious, don't see that bump, and you get shot off course. This has brought her to tears. That's incredible. Take a bow.
What a difference 5 years can make. Charging hard in the first training run at Lake Louise in November of 2017, Marie-Michelle Gagnon went down hard on the final turn and ended up with a torn ACL and dislocated shoulder. Her season was over. She'd missed the Olympics in Pyeongchang. It was a tough lesson to learn as she made her transition to speed racing. Well, here we go with the Canadian Hope at Lake Louise. Marie-Michelle Gagnon, 33-year-old from Lac-Etchemin, Quebec, from Mont-Original.
Well, the last time the women will race here in Lake Louise this weekend, and the last year we see Marie-Michelle Gagnon race. Unofficial, but word on the street is that this might be the last year for Mitch. Been around such a long time, and it just really hasn't changed. Her character is still fantastic. Still has a ton of energy. What I've noticed over the years is really matured as a downhill. Remember, she used to ski slalom and giant slalom, and now has tried her heart out at downhill and has skied so well in this event. Off the pace up top, though.
Yeah, we knew her as a slalom skier and been on the podium 5 times in the World Cup. Once in a speed event, the Super G bronze at Garmisch in 2021. Had the bad crash in training here at Lake Louise in 2017, but fought back, not intimidated by speed or by the mountain.
I think just a little intimidated through the bottom of waterfall and coming into fishnet. Just had to change her direction slightly, and that's going to cost her more time down here. A little ragged coming through that section of the course as well. That's not the greatest for Mitch.
Longtime partner of American ski racer Travis Guidon. In the 8 starts at the Olympic Winter Games, comes so close. She was 8th in the downhill in Beijing. Marie-Michelle Gagnon, kind of a lone wolf on that Canadian Alpine speed team on the women's side.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect run, that's for sure. It wasn't the greatest in training. A little long way off waterfall.
The Italian women are deep. The Alpine Azzurri, Elena Curtoni, senior member of the team, 31 years of age. World Cup start number 240 for Curtoni. She skied at 5 World Championships.
Yeah, that's what her coach said. The Rolfie said she can ski downhill like she did in Cortina Super G. Then watch out, she can do anything. She wasn't great in the summer, had some COVID issues, but after September, one has really progressed in the right direction. That's a good position there, really smooth and compact, controlled, precise.
She's in it, just over half a second back in the Super G in the 2020 season. Part of an Italian sweep. Marta Bassino, Federica Brugoni joined her on the podium. They had a great day in Bulgaria. Curtoni chasing Goggia. 2 Italians. Curtoni's close in 5th spot, just a second back.
There's lots of room in there between 3rd and 4th, and Curtoni finds herself in a pretty good position. It's nice and smooth and relaxed, and how fun was that?
Cornelia Hutter of Austria. Here we go. This should be one of the serious threats to Goggia. Before in 2017.
Ski for a couple of years because of injury. We have 9 Austrian women racing today. They have 25 staff here. Like they have staff coming out their ears. 7 servicemen, physios, doctors, support staff. Name it, they have a sports psychologist traveling with them as well. If you have some issues, you know whose door to knock on late in the evening.
And of course, all of the racing on the World Cup
Look at this.
live on TV back home in Austria.
Yeah, there are more people watching alpine skiing than there were the World Cup last weekend, and they better be watching this right now because she is in it to win it.
Cornelia Hutter won in 2017. She's in the green, flatlined with Sofia Goja. Down into the tuck, the chase. Hutter. Goja, and it's still Goja. Wow. 3rd spot. I love seeing the face of Sofia Goja as she reacts to every racer that comes down.
Oh, how about the face of Connie Hutter right now? She's on her knees thanking all those 25 staff members for every moment of help. That was so close.
That's fantastic. Italian superstar Sofia Goja has the lead, looking for her 4th consecutive victory at Lake Louise. We'll return to skiing in just a moment. In Lake Louise, Alberta, for the first women's speed race of this World Cup season. Right now, let's get it down to Kelly Vanderbeek.
One of the oldest in the race, the 2nd oldest. You have so much experience, but I know that wasn't what you were looking for on the track. Can you talk about the preparations coming in here and how that helped or hindered?
Yeah, so this year was a little different. Our approach to the summer training, we focused a lot on the GS and improving on the technique so that I can translate that onto the Super G and hopefully take the next step, in downhill as well. And it was really beneficial. And now I know, I feel I'm behind on the downhill. I didn't get as much mileage on the downhill boards. My feeling's a little off, but it's definitely tough today to just not feel like myself when I'm going down. And even in the start, just not fully being, I can do this and I'm looking for speed. I'm just a little bit off.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, here's a good story. 26-year-old Nina Ortlieb of Austria. This is her 60th World Cup start. A bright light for the Austrian team. All kinds of potential. The daughter of former Alpine great Patrick Ortlieb.
I think this is must-see TV as well. So good in training, but missed some gates, especially over the fall-away section of the course. She is prone to disaster as well. Been injured a lot, has come back. Phenomenal athlete. Okay, this is where it gets tough in here. Stay forward over that little roller. Little hesitation through the middle of fishnet. Now this is where she missed the gate. Gotta press that roll. Okay, I think she's all right. 700's back. This might be a little bit more. Yeah, 0.69. So she can make up some time at the bottom. She was good down there. 2nd yesterday at the bottom and 1st in this section.
ACL tear in her debut season of 2014. So as Brian said, she's dealt with injury. But Nina Ortlieb chasing down near the finish line here for Austria.
It's a comeback after 23 months of being injured. And a heck of a comeback.
Ortlieb, 5th. Great run.
Here we go. No mistake. She's making some noise.
Little shrug.
He is ferocious. A competitor like your dad, like no other. Man, that guy hated to lose, and she comes by it honestly. Knows that those training runs told her that she had a chance to be on the podium and may have given one away there, but watch out tomorrow for Nina Ortlieb.
Another former champion, Ilka Stuic, who swept the racing here in 2016, both downhills, and twice has been the world champion. but then dealt with injuries, as we've been saying. So Stuech, senior skier, 32 years of age now.
Skiing much better this season. She changed skis from Stokely to Kesley. She said it came to a point where I had to change my skis or end my career. So she changed them and has been doing well, good in training, 6/10 back now. Could this upset the apple cart here? Coaching again. Remember, Daria used to tune her skis as well.
Stuech did look good in training, 2nd, 9th, and 3rd.
Yeah, AJ Kitt told me that as well. She looked really good and smooth in training, made it look easy. 0.43, 130 kilometers an hour top speed.
Ilka Stuech, the mark of a champion, cranking it out here. Could she make
in the soft snow? Said she's more calm and relaxed this season. She's skiing much like it. And look at this, 0.37. Come on.
Ilka Stuech challenging for the podium after all these years.
Oh, letting those skis
Stuech,
swim?
5th.
Okay.
That's an encouraging run for the former champion of Lake Louise.
Oh, that's great. Well, she spoke about Sochi, how she raced half-injured, missed Pyeongchang, China. She had back problems. She went to Olympia this summer, traveled there to make peace with the Olympics, and cried in tears at that place where they light the torch. And what a comeback for Stuech.
Stephanie Fleckenstein of Canada, one of 2 Canadians in the field.
So Steph's got some experience here. She's on her own program, raised a whole bunch of money, still attending school at the University of Colorado, where she's going to graduate in May. Some help from AJ Kitt, the former American downhiller, and her dad Steve is actually tuning her skis, so everybody's helping her out. Look out, Steph, hang on. Getting rocked around a little bit. Really has the potential to be in the top 30. Oh, that's not great right now. 3 seconds back. AJ said she's really coachable. He just takes all of his advice and experiments with each little nugget that he gives her. Put on a little bit of weight this year, getting stronger, and that's what you have to be. 10 pounds, her dad said.
3-time academic All-American at the University of Colorado. Had a big leg injury as a 20-year-old, fought through that.
Okay, hanging in there. Going to be a little bit off the pace, but it's so dark right now. Just give her credit for being in there. Remember last year she was fighting for position on the Canadian ski team, didn't quite make the results. Battled with Ronnie Remy, who's out for the season with a torn ACL, skiing for Germany now, but Steph Fleckenstein will have to give it another shot in the next race, back-to-back downhills here in Lake Louise.
38 today, well back.
Little mistakes up top where she drifted a little bit wide.
There they are down at the bottom of the hill. Goja, Hutter, and Corinne Suter to Sofia Goja's right. Downhills at Lake Louise. Sofia Goja of Italy wins for the 4th time in a row at Lake Louise. Olympic champ Corinne Suter is 2nd. 3rd is Cornelia Hutter of Austria. The top Canadian, Marie-Michelle Gagnon, in 24th spot. Brian Goja proves once again she is a force to be reckoned with, and she does it with such glee.
That's incredible, really. Won 4 of the first 5 downhills last season. She's been concentrating on technique all summer long, and only 2 weeks ago looked for intensity, so her technique wasn't exactly perfect. She even admitted that. She'd be better on Saturday, but you never know. Luca Gazzi, her coach, has deconstructed her technique, and she just seems to be dialed in once again.
It's the first speed race of the season, so the World Cup downhill standings are our mirror of those results. Sophia Kareen points. Kareen Suter collects 80 points, and Cornelia Hooter, the third place finisher, gets 60. Here's Kelly Vanderbeek with the champion.
This venue is known as Lake Lindsay, but we might have to reevaluate because there's a certain ring to Lake Sophia, and this is your 4th consecutive win here. Can you talk about what it takes to have the intensity for fight to every hundredth of a second?
Well, I think that the lake remains Lake Lindsay because she had 3 hat-tricks in her career and I had just 1, and I'm glad I made it. But I'm super happy with the result and the outcome of today, but being sincere, I'm not that happy with my performance. It was not that clear and it was not so perfect. That was really dirty many turns, and I still have a lot of gap to improve. And then also the other competitors are skiing really fast and they're super hungry, but I think it's going to be really a challenging season.
Well, thank you. Good luck in the next
Thank you.
races.
Bye.
The overall standings in the race for the Crystal Globe. We are 5 races into the season, most speed and technical. Michaela Schifrin, in search of her 5th title, leads the way and is followed by her slalom and GS rivals, Wendy Holdner and Petra Belova. Well, here's a look at our podium on a brilliant day at Lake Louise. Brian, Cornelia Hooter of Austria, 3rd place today. She won in 2017.
You can't say enough about somebody who's come back from a knee injury, and she's done it a few times.
Korean Suter of Switzerland. For the past 3 seasons, she is never out of a race.
Olympic champ. She's just starting off maybe 1 spot off where she'd like to be.
Sophia Goja, she said tomorrow she'll be better. She looks pretty good again today.
Now she's familiar spot, actually directing which was 2nd and 3rd place, so she knows where she belongs up top there.
Final results: Sophia Goja of Italy, Kareen Suter of Switzerland, and Cornelia Hooter of Austria. 1, 2, 3 in the first downhill at Lake Louise. The women are back racing in the second downhill at Lake Louise. We'll have it for you in about an hour at 5 p.m. ET. Since 1992, women have won back-to-back downhills at Lake Louise 13 times. Sophia Goja, the last to do it last year. And based on today's result in the Rockies, Sophia Goja of Italy still has a chance to sweep speed at iconic Lake Louise.